What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another FFB War of the Visions video here on the channel. And today, guys, we are going to be going over the two new units, one new MR, one new UR coming on the banner for this week's patch notes, which is going to drop tomorrow morning. So, first off, guys, let's go and get into Viktoria. Now, this is WOTV Calc, and I didn't know they had a JP side you could just click on, and then you can view this. So, right up here, you guys see where my mouse is here, where the little England flag is. You can select global and JP, and then you can just use Google Translate. So, since this is off Google Translate, it does say Victor here, but it is Viktoria, if I'm pronouncing that correctly for you guys. So, let's go over first her kit. So, she is a Ice Spear user. Her main class is going to be Dragon Knight, and then her subclasses are going to be obviously Dragon, and then she's going to have Soldier and Thief as well. So first, let's hit up her TMR. Her TMR is going to give you 502 HP, which is very good on HP. 8 defense, very solid, and then 12 accuracy. So the stat spread on her TMR is actually very good. All those stats are pretty good. The defense is a little low for being a UR gear, but the HP is very high, so it is offset a little bit by that high HP. But 12 accuracy is a pretty high number overall. Usually anything above 10 is pretty good, so it's a very solid stat spread there. So let's go into her skill. Her skill is going to increase Pierce attack from 60 to 80 for one turn, and then it's going to increase accuracy from 15 to 30 for one turn. So obviously this is going to only be really useful for those spear users with those pierce attack damage. So whereas defense pierce and attack pierce are completely different. So Lucia has defense pierce, and then the spear users have attack pierce. So that's the kind of difference that you guys will know, and that's, you know, why you can't really put a lot of these things onto a character like Lucia who does have defense pierce, just so you guys are aware of that. I was wrong in my video yesterday, so I apologize if I said anything incorrect in that video, but it's a one-time. You can only cast it, it looks like only just a one-time use, and it costs 24 TP. But overall, I think it's a very solid TMR, probably in the head of the pack, especially for the class type. Now, this is not a universal TMR, you know, like something like a Zyza TMR where you can use it on every single DPS character, but this is a very useful TMR, or even a Medina TMR where it can be used on any character to give any character, you know, a shout type ability like Ramza has. So, but this is a very good piece of TMR to use on any spear user. So very solid. Good stats and a very good ability. All right, we hopped over quickly to WOTV game.co because for some reason even though I like the layout of Calc better, it doesn't give you just like everything stats. It's like breaking it up between job classes, regular stats, and board and stuff like that. So here are the real stats of Viktoria. I was like, those stats seem really low. So alright, so she has 2259 HP, which is pretty decent, 126 TP, 119 AP, 3 move, 4 jump, 156 luck, 261 attack, 69 magic, 54 speed, 154 dexterity, 2 range, cost of 70. And then her master ability is Pierce Attack 10, casting time minus 20%. I guess casting time weighs into using the jump abilities, but overall, stat pool is pretty decent. A little slow, has, you know, pretty solid attack. I think that's like comparable. I think Lucia's attack is around 260. And decent HP, and the move and jump is very good, obviously her being the dragon class. So overall stat pool is pretty good, so nothing really to complain about there. Then you guys see these are her mods. So she's got up against spears, minus against the fist melee users, negative on magic, and then negative on missile, and then she's got minus missile, and then she's got missile resistance. So missile resistance, and then magic resistance minus 20. So she's weak to magic, weak to strike, and then she's got pierce and missile resistance. So actually for the meta, that's pretty good because she has resistance to Lucia and Frederica. Then she also has resistance to wind, and then she's weak to fire, which weak to fire is like, that's fine, because no one uses fire. Fire is probably one of the worst, if not the worst, overall elements in the game, currently on global anyway. So that is pretty good. That's actually very, very solid as far as her stat pool, combined with her resistance and things like that with her kit. So that's very, very good. And now let's go into her skills. So let's go over all the support skills first. So she has an increased jump of +1. She has an HP up skill that goes from a 5% to a 15% gauge. Knowledge of Thief, increased move by 1, and then increased agility from 3% to 12%. That's pretty good. I believe that isn't like the that's the the ninja one that we typically get. And then there's Abandonment. This is definitely a new thing. It does increase attack percent from 30% to 60%, and then decrease slash resistance, pierce, strike, missile, and magic resistance. So this is very similar, it seems, to like Stern's ability, where it's a massive increase in attack percent, but it lowers your resistance of basically all the types. So, and then she has increased acquired AP, so that will obviously be a farming only skill that you'll use if you guys do end up building her and you want to get your JP max as soon as, or I'm sorry, increased AP, my bad. Okay, increased AP, so that's going to allow her to spam her skills even more. So that's very, very good. That seems very, very strong. Abandonment seems good too, and Knowledge of Thief seems good. I don't think I would build her on the tanky side, and I don't think just increase a jump is good, but I think Abandonment, definitely good for your burst mode DPS. If it's a long fight, you probably don't want to use this, but if it's going to be like a short fight like PvP usually is, then this is definitely going to be a very useful skill. Usually spear range is pretty good. I think it's a little bit better than Sword's ranges typically, but still, you know, the fact that she does have that built-in resistance to missile, even getting that resistance down by 8% when you max this out, you know, you're still going to get an overall 12% resistance to missile if you do use this skill. So she'll still probably be able to tank pretty well, especially against Lucia as well, because she does have that additional 20% resistance to wind. So very, very good. I actually really like her support skills there. And then let's go into her counter. Chance to counter all damage from 10% to 20%, and then absorbs HP. So very, very good. A chance to, this is the same skill that Stern has. You get a heal off and you get a counter attack off. Very, very good. You get 50% back of the damage you deal. And then counter slash, chance to counter physical damage only from 15 to 30% chance, and then damage of 95% to 121%, and then quick action chance to counter all damage from 10 to 20%, and then increase agility from 20 to 40%. So this is a counter with an increased agility, and then this one is a absorb HP. So depending on what you're going for, that's how you guys can, you know, depending on what you guys are looking for, different ways you guys can use it. To note though, the Dragon Sword range is a lot bigger than just the little dot here you guys have for quick actions, just so you are aware. But I think that's simply because it's just increased own agility, not because it actually does, or I guess it does counter too, so you guys would have to test this to see if you have a higher chance of triggering this from your range ability. Like, for instance, say you're in this little line of your enemy compared to being right on top of them, so that could play a factor as well. And then basic attack, 70% piercing. And now let's go into the skills on the main job. So jump 155% to 190% at 16 AP. And then remember, all the jump abilities do take a turn to use. And that's why she does have that casting time reduction on her master ability. And then Dragon Blood, increase attack from 20 to 42% for 3 turns. Horizontal jump 185 to 220% damage, vertical jump 198 to 225, and then Dragon Dive 150 to 185. So nothing really impressive about her kit, to be honest. It's pretty standard, especially for the Dragon class. There isn't really added effects like decreased defense, decreased attack, increase anything on her skills besides the actual buff of Dragon Blood. So a little lackluster, I feel, on her main job. And then we have Dragon's Roar, increased bravery, and then increased move for 3 turns, increased jump for 3 turns. So those are both TP skills, it looks like. So not really impressive with her kit, to be honest. Not really that impressive. And then we have here Soldier. Spire Force absorbs TP 20 to 40%. Hazard Form, consume 1 HP to increase attack from 30 to 50%. How does that compare to... Yeah, I probably wouldn't ever use that, because you could just use Dragon Blood, which only is 8% less, but you're not losing 10% HP. And then Paralyzed Edge, inflict 25% chance to inflict Paralyze. Hazard Spin, consume HP for a 235% mod, which is higher than all of her other skills. So that is the highest mod you could have. But Horizontal Jump is very, very close. Vertical Jump is very, very close. Now they do take a turn to cool down, to activate because of their jump skills. And then Hard Slash, 140 to 175% mod. And then you have Hazard Break, 190 to 225. Consumes HP, though, of 25%. And Hazard Spin, the same thing. Consume HP of 25%. So I probably would lean away from Soldier, just simply because there's a lot of repetitive skills here. And honestly, the mods aren't massively more than what you see here from like Horizontal Jump and Vertical Jump. The drawback is, of course, that you do have to jump. But I still feel overall, when you are in air, you obviously can't be targeted. So it's just slowing down the damage. But you're not actually able to get killed while you're in jump mode. So I think still overall, the main class DPS skills still are better than the soldier skills, in my personal opinion, from how this reads so far. And then finally, we'll go to the Thief skill, or the Thief kit. So that is going to be Steel Eyesight, decrease accuracy, 20 to 43 for 3 turns. Then we have deals, and then Confuser, deal 130 to 165% damage, but a 25% chance to inflict confusion for 3 turns. So a very low mod in comparison, but it does give you that confusion chance. And here is Steel, so this is a good farm skill. Steel 125 to 150. Lost in Darkness, increase evasion rate for 3 turns. That's always a solid TP skill. Steal Time, we all know how good Steal Time is now with raids, so this is a very awesome skill to have access to. Reduces the CT from the opponent, and increase your own agility from 5 to 20% for 3 turns. And then finally, we have here 175 to 210% with a guaranteed crit hit from behind, Sucker Punch. I actually like Thief, honestly. From reading all these, you only get two more skills on the Dragon Knight skill, which is just I'm sorry, that decreases bravery, not increases bravery, decreases bravery. So I was wrong on that. My bad, guys. So decrease bravery, and then increase move and jump. So it's a debuff in bravery, which bravery actually is a very big skill that people, or not skill, but stat that people don't really pay much attention to a lot, besides getting like your 97 on your initial unit. But increase in bravery is actually a huge thing, especially on a unit like Ramza that has like Shout. So it is something to note, but I still feel overall like I think Thief is her best sub-skill. I would have to go on first glance. I could be wrong, but I like the utility skill she has. She has increased evasion. She has Steal Time, which affects the turn bar against the enemies, increase your own agility as well on that, and has a guaranteed crit when you're behind an enemy. And then it also has a confusion ability, and it also has a decrease in accuracy for the enemies as well. So I like the Thief subclass personally. And the reason why I don't like Soldier as much, while it does have a little bit more mods, it's not a drastic more mods compared to her main class. And all of these skills, we know from Stern, is going to cause you to lose HP. So that's the downside of it. But yeah, that's what I think of that. And then we have her Limit Break, which is 165 to 200% with a 67% chance to inflict Charm for 3 turns. So, honestly, she doesn't impress me very much. I think for sure Gumi is trying to push her. That's why we have her. She has her own elemental weapon, so like one of the best weapons you'll probably ever see for her already exists in the game this week when we get her. You guys can farm that out, which will significantly improve her DPS, because she'll be one of the few units that has access to an elemental weapon at this point in Global. So that is a big selling point for her. But overall, I don't feel she's super good. And the problem is like it's hard to build around a spear comp currently in Global. She may be one of those units where it's like cool to get her, and a lot of people may pull for her simply because you are going to have access to that event, where you can get her shards, and it's a limited time event, and you can only do the event if you have the unit. So that's where, you know, I can see two sides of the coin. If you're lacking that good ice damage dealer DPS unit like this, then possibly she is useful. But if you guys have already built like a Medina or some kind of other ice unit where you may need it for like a tower event or a raid or something like that, then I'd probably say it's a hard skip, to be honest. And keep in mind, guys, my same thing with Trinity Summon videos. She's in the general pull, so she can always be pulled later on in the game. So that's always a thing to note. So you guys could buy her shards in the shop if you want this week. You guys could start doing whatever quests to start stocking up on her. But overall, I say if you're pulling for just her, unless you're lacking in ice DPS, I say overall I'm not impressed with her kit. Overall, you know, to an extent, so I would say it's a skip, to be honest. So let's go over the MR unit real fast. So we have, I don't know why it's called Thalia, it's Salire. But she is going to be a lightning mage. So, like I said, she has a very similar style kit to Medina. Definitely not carbon copy, but she has a lot of similarities in her kit. So, her accessory is a TMR, increase human killer by 20%. So the ability on this is super top tier for PvP, right? Human killer, man eater, same thing. Insanely good. And it doesn't look like it's an activated skill. It's actually a passive skill. So you don't even have to activate this. This is just a straight up passive effect, which is insane. You don't even have to take a turn to activate this. So it's going to start at the beginning of the fight. So you could use this on a unit that doesn't have your Odin card or doesn't have your Odin Esper. Very good skill, especially on mages where they don't really benefit as much from, especially the Odin Esper, because they can't use slash attack. So very good. But unfortunately, her stat pool on the accessory is very bad. It only gives you 2 stats, and it is 172 HP and 8 spirit. So this is probably a good TMR if you don't need that extra big stat pool from your TMR stats. So if your main thing is just about getting the man-eater effect on it, then it's an amazing TMR because it's passive. So I can definitely see the benefit of it, though, for sure. And generally, we all know MR TMRs typically are a lot weaker than UR TMRs. If this was a UR unit, I bet it would have a third stat like accuracy or crit or something like that, and then it would give you, you know, more bang for your buck. But her master ability is going to increase magic by 20% and magic attack by 15%. So very good master ability. Alright, so here are her max stats, guys. So she is a lightning mage with main black mage, sub black mage, sub white mage, and sub ninja. So very similar once again to Medina, where I think the difference is Medina has green mage and not white mage. So that's the big difference here. But these are her stats: 1504 HP. 127 TP, 140 AP, 3 move, 1 jump, 146 luck, 64 attack, 245 magic, 54 speed, 160 dexterity, cost of 65, range of 1. So very good. Like, she's not quite as high as Medina stats, but she is very close. So very good stat wise for this unit. So let's go into now her resistance. So she is weak to earth. And she has 15% resistance to to water, and then she is weak to every single typing, so except for magic. So she's weak to strike, she's weak to pierce, and she's weak to slash. So that's the only unfortunate thing. It is only 10% to pierce and slash, so if she had to be the weakest to the two others, missile kind of hurts a little bit, but strike, you know, that's fine. Strike isn't very prevalent in the meta, but her being weak to missile, and I don't feel she'll be super good for PvP because we're going to be in a huge gunner meta for a while with the release of Lucia. So I feel she will be a pretty big liability overall in terms of PvP modes, but I think her mode to be focused on will be PvE for sure. Alright, so let's go into her skills. So first, she has magic power-up, just like Medina, increases from 10% to 30% magic. She has Saint March to nullify Doom. Shadow Running, increase agility from 3 to 12%, and then increase luck from 5 to 12%, and then Shrink increases move and jump. So definitely, I would say Saint March is probably not what you're going to use. You're probably going to use a combination between Magic Power-Up probably will always be on her. And then Shadow Running and Shrink will probably go depending on, what maps you're taking on and things like that. But I think overall Shadow Running probably the best, simply because for that increased 12% agility is really, really big. And Luck is very, very big as well. Those are two really prime stats you do want to have. So next, let's go into her reactives. Magic Counter, chance to counter all damage from 10 to 20%. And the damage mod is from 95 to 121%. Regenerator is going to be counter all damage from 10 to 20%, and a grant, or it's the chance to counter all damage from 10 to 20%, and you grant a 5 to 10% health restore each turn for 3 turns. So regen, very, very good ability to have for sure. And then Poison Needle, chance counter all damage from 30 to 50%, and then a chance to inflict poison 50%. I never use those poison elemental reactive skills, because first you have to have the chance for the reactive proc, then you got to have the chance for the debuff. So unless it's 100% debuff, like I think Gilgamesh's slows very, very high chance to proc. But other than that, I would not use the Poison Needle return just for poison. Regenerator, I feel, and even then Magic Counter are probably going to be what you're going to go for. But I like Regenerator personally, but I do like a lot of the healing abilities, especially on reactives and passives. So, alright, so her main class is going to be Thunder, deals damage from 145 to 141. Bio, 90 to 125 with a 50% chance to inflict poison from a 5 stack to a 15 stack. And then you guys have, this is Thunderaga, not Sandaga, deal damage from 150 to 185%. Toad, 25% chance to inflict Toad for 3 turns. And then Flare, 200 to 322% mod. Crazy mods on Flare. And that's another reason why she's insanely good. The advantage she has over other MR mages like Y'shtola is that Y'shtola does not have access to Flare. So that's another big deal here. And then we have Black Mage. So Black Mage on her class 2. Drain, chance to absorb HP, 115% mod, 141% mod. Or not chance, it's just straight up absorb HP. And then Thundera, 115 to 141%. Spill, which is probably completely mistranslated, absorb TP 10 to 20%. And then this would be Sleep, 25% chance to inflict Sleep for 3 turns. Alright, so White Mage, lots of skills here. Dispel all elements, Asuna, so Pure Cleanse. Then this is Cure, heals 90 to 120. Shell, grant Shell, reduce magical damage for 3 turns from 10 to 25%. 30% chance to revive to 10 to 20% HP. Very, very good utility skill to have, absolutely. Especially on an attack DPS mage. And then Curita restores 180 to 220. And then I think this is Cura, 90 to 120. I don't know. The translation is they're both the same skill. I don't know. Let me go over to the other site real fast and go down to her other Cura, Curita, and Cure. Okay, so their mods are definitely off there, but she does have access to all 3 in her White Mage kit. Okay. And then grants protect 10 to 25%, reduce physical damage, and then Holy deals damage of 185 to 220 with 100% accuracy and increased Reaper Killer 25 times. And this is the big calling card of why I feel it's you have to go White Mage, because you have access to all these heals, you have access to revive, you have access to protection spells, you have access to cleanses, and you have access to the 100% guaranteed hit Holy spell. So main reason why everyone loves Ayaka, and she's a very similar kit in reference to Ayaka. So this is a very good supplement if you guys are not planning to build Ayaka. If she's too much of an investment for you, this being an MR, and you guys getting 40 free shards for her is another big selling point for why Salire is just so good. So, and then Ninja, we have chance of being targeted, decreased chance of being targeted from 6 to 8. Shuriken, 95 to 121% damage. Poison Fog, 50% chance to inflict poison on the panel. Lead Done, damage, it looks like that's thunder damage, I guess. 130 to 165. Does it tell me? Hang on. Let me see if it actually tells me. Lightning. Okay, Lightning. And then increase accuracy from 30 to 60 for 1 turn. And then Shadow Bondage, damage 105 to 131%, and 20% chance to inflict stop. Okay, so that is the review for Salire. I definitely feel White Mage is like the for sure thing you want to do 90% of the time, or maybe even 100% of the time. I don't know. Like, White Mage just seems insanely good of how much utility you have in that kit overall. But yeah, guys, that's going to be the review for Salire and for Viktoria. Overall, if you guys have been summoning a lot since either Tactics or Lucia or even Miranda or any other of those banners, you probably are going to want to skip this. Like I said, both of these units are going to be in the pool. However, if you are really jonesing for a really good mage and you haven't been lucky with Medina, you don't really have much invested in her, this is going to be a solid unit to go for. So, from what I understand, your best chance to pull her obviously is going to be on her featured banner, but she has like a third of the rates compared to the other MRs from what I've seen. Shout out to Tanatime in his video. I'll leave a link to his video that he posted earlier today where he actually showed you the rates of Salire in a regular banner in JP. So unless they completely change things in JP, or I'm sorry, in Global, expect the rate for her to be a lot lower. She also does require 40 shards per increment of limit break compared to 30 for MRs. I got educated yesterday or today on that it is 30 normally per increment. So like you go like 30, 60, and then 120, and then so on. It's 150, and then eventually like 180 or whatever it is. But this is going to be the normal 40, 80, 120, 160, 200. So that's how Salire is going to be super important for you guys. And even if you guys already have Medina, this is still a unit to get in your back pocket eventually. So I would still, be happy if you pull her. Get shards when you can. You are going to be able to get 3 shards of her a day. If you guys want to you guys can do her quest even if you don't own the unit, from my knowledge, from what I heard. But maybe I got misinformation. But I think you can still do her normal shard quests in the world missions every day, even if you don't own the unit. If I'm wrong, guys, let me know in the comment section down below. But yeah, guys, this is the banner for this week. Overall, it is a skip, I think, for most people. Like I said, if you're in that rare circumstance where you got tons and tons of Viz saved up and you want to do some pulls to try to at least get Salire, at least to start, getting resources for her, I totally get it. That is not a bad decision to at least, do some pulls to just try to get the featured MR, especially if she is going to have lower rates on the normal. But for most people that are super low on Visor, you may not want to pull and you may want to skip. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you guys did enjoy today's content, make sure you guys drop a like down below. Hit subscribe if you guys are new, and ring the bell for future notifications so you guys do not miss the next upload here on the channel. I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch me today, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. Be safe, wash your hands, all that good stuff, and I will see you all tomorrow for